Hi there. In this video I'm going to begin a new series of stuff which I'm going to post pretty regularly, something that I'm going to call my Classics series, where I take a movie that's one of my all-time favourites, I give it a rewatch, and then I come here and review it. The very first film I'm going to do is Chungking Express, which is one of my absolute all-time favourite movies. It's an utter masterpiece, it's fantastic in every single way, and I adore it every time I see it. It's by master director Wong Kar-wai, or Wong Kar-wai. I should really get around to make sure I pronounce his name properly. Director Wong is a fantastic director. He's best known for perhaps In the Mood for Love. He's also made many other classics throughout the years, Happy Together or The Grandmaster. He's a very acclaimed director. He works in Hong Kong mostly, and in my opinion Chungking Express is one of his absolute finest works. This is so much about love and about longing and about what it means to want to love somebody, or what it means to break up with somebody and how that feels. It's very much a film to feel and not a film to think about. It's all about that sort of style and about the quirky nature of it. It's not a film that is necessarily about the substance, although there is actually a lot in Chungking Express. Chungking Express is not a film that is shallow, but it engages in a lot of shallow thrills, and I think that's part of the appeal of it. It's all about the shallow thrills of like pop music, which is a massive part of Wong Kar-wai's work. Wong Kar-wai constantly uses pop music in his films, and the Chungking Express is kind of that at its best. Chungking Express contains so many pop beats and pop music moments, particularly the use of California Dreamin', a song which this film just puts in my head for days afterwards every time I see it. The emotional backbone of Chungking Express really comes down to characters who feel like they want love but they don't know how to find it, and the way that characters end up finding love in this film is very sweet and tender. The films of Wong Kar-wai often end up being about people who seek love, and sometimes that can manifest in films with quite sad endings or quite sad feelings, or films that feel melancholic or feel like they're about loss. And one of the things that makes Chungking Express kind of distinct in that compared to some of his other films, there is really happiness at kind of the centre of what it's trying to ultimately become. It ends positively, it makes you feel positive. And whilst a film like In the Mood for Love has plenty of those positive moments, it's also tinged with that negativity, which is crucial to the experience of that film. But Chungking Express is a different beast altogether. Chungking Express is about ultimately leaving the viewer and the characters fulfilled. Even if that doesn't mean they fall in love, even though that doesn't mean they get together, what that means is it leaves the experience being happy, which I think is so crucial. I think it's one of the reasons why I personally just end up going back to it time and time again, because I think it just ultimately moves me every time I watch it. One of the other things that Chungking Express really exhibits is Wong Kar-wai's utter masterful use of urban environments. His characters are always lost in that urban contemporary maze, and they're stuck in between buildings, in between walls. The way the cinematography works in his films are often ways that frame the characters, that entrap them. And Chungking Express is very vibrant, and Christopher Doyle, the cinematographer here, and also incidentally one of the greatest cinematographers of all time, uses the city and the lights around it to just produce these wonderful hues and shades, and he is so vibrant. His work is just swathed with colour and swathed with just neon lights and with images that just either trap the characters or move the action on screen. He is so committed to capturing the vibe of the city, and that's the key thing about Chungking Express. It captures the energy of a city, it captures the energy and the life, and that's kind of the point. In fact, there's two stories in Chungking Express. The first story takes up the first half hour, and the second story takes up the final hour. And they're two stories with only one intersection, and those stories are otherwise separate and they're different. And the first story really is about people whose lives move kind of faster than the city around them, and the second story is about people whose lives move slower than the city around them. And so their stories move at different paces, and their love and their positivity takes different times to get there. Other aspects of Chungking Express that I love is just the use of the mundane. This is a film where every tiny object means so much to the characters, to their mental states, to where they want to be in their life. This is a film where expired tins of pineapple and toy aeroplanes and scribbles on a napkin and bars of soap mean so much to the characters. And all of this really, really matters. In fact, I think what's really crucial is that although Chungking Express is just too quirky to be realistic, all of the feelings are entirely natural, and I think all of the movements and humanity are there because I think they're personified by things outside of the humans. They're personified by the space, they're personified by the hub and the feeling and the energy around the people in the city. This is a film where there'll be gunshots whilst someone dances to pop music. There'll be all sorts of just moments of contradiction. There'll be also moments where people are living. Life goes on, no matter what happens in the film. And so love or death or loss or breakups, they don't necessarily hold the energy down. People still move on. People still find new ways to find happiness. And so it's a very positive movie, but it's also a movie that is sort of a little bit aware of how sad things can get, but it's not in any way untruthful. It's not overly happy, it's not faking it. It's quirky, and it's self-knowingly quirky, and it's kind of something to just roll along with. You're meant to kind of embrace the vague philosophical notions thrown out about love, but otherwise just go along with the ride. And the ride is sensational. It's fast-paced, it's energetic. Every single second of Chungking Express is alive and filled with feeling and filled with mood. Wong Kar-wai only ever makes mood pieces. He never makes stories. Stories are almost beneath his work. His work is non-chronological. His work is filled with stories that intersect and where characters and plots and themes just meet each other. They aren't moving linearly, they're just moving emotionally. And that's how he works, and that's part of why Chungking Express is both a very intelligent film, but also a film to watch without thinking too hard. It's a film to just bathe in, to just absorb its vibrant energy, its youthful use of colour and music and popular media, and to just accept it for what it is. It's a film filled with great performances across the board. The lead cast, Faye Wong, Tony Leung-Chiu-Wai, Valerie Chow, Brigitte Lin and Takeshi Kaneshiro are all fantastic, and most of them appear in other Wong Kar-wai films. He's a director who uses the same people over and over again. Chungking Express is also very influential. I mean, Wong Kar-wai made Fallen Angels, which is essentially a sequel to this film. This movie kind of set in stone a vibe that other films touched upon. First Love, The Letter on the Breeze by Eric Cotton, A Way with Words by Christopher Doyle are in this same sort of setup. What's amazing is Wong Kar-wai only made Chungking Express because he had some time off during editing of Ashes of Time, a film with a notoriously difficult production. So it's amazing that all this just sort of came together, and that's kind of what I admire about it. Wong Kar-wai has made films that are more controlled and more planned, and more just delicate and perfectly artificial. But this is a film which feels haphazard, that feels like he just tried stuff, he just threw things out there to see what he could do, and he just sort of stumbled on profoundness. He just stumbled on characters finding meaning in shallowness, characters finding meaning in empty rooms, in CDs, characters just find meanings in anything, and that meaning is something that I think transfers to real life, where people do attach themselves to things which are inanimate, things that don't exist, things that are even just abstract ideas. And all of this is capturing just this kaleidoscopic whirl of love in a big city, and I think Chungking Express is fantastic, it's engaging, it's wonderfully well made, it's profound, but it's not trying to be profound necessarily, it's clever, it's witty, it's enjoyable. On every single watch of this, I just get more and more from it. I think Chungking Express is a fantastic film that I will always recommend. It's utterly amazing and truly heartfelt. Chungking Express is just perfect. It's a film that's never once static, and very few films keep up the energy that it has for an entire feature-length runtime. It's magnificent, and I think that I would heartily recommend this. It's one of the finest films ever to come out of Hong Kong, and almost certainly one of the finest films of the 90s. I think it's just wonderfully a film of singular vision. It works without even trying, and I think that's the best thing about it. It just seems effortless in all of its breathless energy. It is utterly fantastic. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on Chungking Express, so please post a comment if you want. Please like this video, subscribe if you want to hear more. I post reviews all the time. And if you want to keep up to date with my film watching, you can follow me on Letterboxd or Twitter, links in the description. And thank you for watching.